Ciao a tutti, sono Matteo e questo è un nuovo capitolo di Ropeflow, lacordanonmente. Oggi sono qui con Rokas, un ragazzo della Lituania, fondatore di Octomoves, uno dei più grandi brand di corde e creatori di contenuti riguardo al coaching di Ropeflow. Hi Rokas, how are you doing?
Hi, ciao Matteo. Doing great. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad to stay here with you. So, we are going to telling your personal story about your practice and the Octomoves. Okay, the reality of Octomoves. So, can you start with your personal story? So, try to explain when did you start, how, and especially why.
Alright, I don't know if I start from the Ropeflow beginning, I will cut a lot of things that shaped me. I was living active lifestyle since I was kid and doing different sports and martial arts since I was 5. So that led me to living that kind of lifestyle. Being around 10 or so, I found the skateboarding.
Okay.
That was with me for many years. Now it's also returning back because there was some sort of gap that I kind of left it behind. There was snowboarding as well because we have snow, so naturally winter time you get a different board. In meantime, I've been training different kind of sports, games, and so like from football, basketball, tennis, table tennis, whatever, the Muay Thai, there's like many things was in my life. At some point in my life, when I was, you've been a student, I went to study like economics and all of that stuff, and working in the company until I figured out that this is not what I want to do at that point of my life. So I quit everything, went to live in Canada for a bit, and to figure out what I want to do. Ended up with one thing that was constantly with me with all my life, so it was movement, sports, all of that. So I came to Canada. The first thing I found where I can go train, and not about where to live or go to work and everything else. So there was something that constantly followed me, and during the year I understand that like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to coach people. And once I got back after there and traveling a little bit around the world, I started trying to train. I started just practicing just for fun, like, I trained my friends and so on, and we really liked it, so I started studying that more, reading lots of books, practicing, and this led to having lots of coaches. Meantime, having one coach for 1 month, other for other, and like trying different disciplines, the ones that I like, the ones that I don't like, but still trying to figure out why people like it and what's good, why it's good for them. And there's like there's no single thing that you should do. It's because I've tried so many things, even though it's like this is like shitty. Why people do it? Let's try it. Like still, I'm curious what's in there, and because of that, I found a lot of things that actually connect. Basically, the same systematic things across all the disciplines and methods that basically are the same, and what changes is different moves or whatever. The same thing is bad at another, which is kind of conflicts the ideas, and that actually leads me to thinking like, okay, so what is truly behind? So, and you kind of end up with the principles. So those principles are more important than some kind of surface things that people talk. In the industry these days, things are really diluted because people that tried something for a bit and we feel like we are masters and go to teach it somebody else. The knowledge about the thing is really like on the surface level, really shallow, and we kind of go and teach that in the shallow level, so the next person doesn't feel the depth of the practice. The short things that I tried with different disciplines, really shallow.
Okay.
But the discussions, going deep, and like with the coaches and talking and listening a lot, what is behind all of that, what is behind of those movements, the shapes that we are creating with our bodies. And there's like you can pick it up the similar things and how it's built up. So whatever data you have before in your life, you come to that point when you meet some sort of discipline, and if you're working personally with clients, as I do, you end up creating something that is specific for that person at that moment. Yeah, from all of these practices, like at some point I started getting more like in the Kung Fu, like I said, like, this is like ancient shit, and I need to figure out like what we're doing. And I find out that the first thing what the practitioners do, they start learning soft weapons. And I started like playing with the string and the ball. It was super fun. All those moves kind of clicked it. Christopher, at that point, that we've been training with him, his protocols in Online Movement University, and he suggested to check it out. David, and check his Ropeflow.
So when did you listen to Ropeflow for the first time?
No, it's more than 3 years ago, I think, something like that. So I checked those moves. I went to try them with the jump rope that I had it in my house, and it's like it clicked. And from that point, I started looking for like different ropes and stuff, like how I can rope with it, or keep on rolling, because I tested so many, probably like 20, 30 different ropes, and like some of them was really shit, some was alright. And
what kind of ropes? Did you buy something online? I don't know, maybe the RMT official rope or Slash rope?
No, I didn't. I wanted to order the RMT rope, but it was like shipping cost like $80. So just like no way. So like I will experiment with the ropes, and I was looking, going into depot stores, going climbing stores, whatever, looking what I can get, like a different kind of ropes, different weights, different sizes, and I keep testing and doing. And like at some point when I've been surfing in the coast of Lithuania, and I went out, and I remember that one of my friends that we studied together, he has like a fashion brand that do the jewelry from the ropes. And he was like a rope guy. Asked him to get me ropes that I need, like, and I told what I want from the rope, and said, yeah, sure, let's do it. He got me those ropes, and this was again like 10 different ropes, and we picked one. It was good. We liked it. It was best what at that point what we could do. It was Black Swan, so it was a Black Swan event for us. We found that something that works really nice, but we wasn't happy with the quality of the rope, so we kept searching until we found the Phoenix, which became the Phoenix, and now the new Black Swan is the same as the Phoenix, and that was it. That was like finding the perfect surfboard for the perfect conditions that you like. We tested more, and I really liked the Flowzilla, that kind of style, more rigid, and I like it more like a longer rope to play with that, and it's like it cut the air differently, and it's like, this is so cool. Today I feel like Flowzilla, or today I feel like Phoenix, and you know that ropes has different feeling, like every surfboard has a different feeling. Looking and searching for all of those ropes from the perspective that we're looking best rope to flow. So we've been crafting that kind of equipment. It's not just the rope, and we have like a big machine that like 3 by 2 meters in our office that do some things for the rope, and it makes different from whatever you can buy the same rope as we do, but what we do with it in the making process is something that what it makes as it is.
Yeah, it's true, because sometimes I try to explain to my students the difference between ropes. When we talk about feeling, when you talk about the sensation that the rope gives you back when you train, it's something unexplainable, because it's so personal. When you hold the knots, when you hold the ropes for the first time, different from another one, you can feel its personality. Okay, for example, this is the Phoenix, your ropes, and I bought this maybe on February, last February maybe, and just yesterday I changed the knots. I prefer the little one, but you can change the knots. It become a totally different rope. I change his personality. Okay, I start flowing and flowing. I say, what the fuck? It's changed everything. Even when you do a single knots along the body, without knots, it's totally different. Ropes are like people, have different personality, different way to adapt to the practice, and so I ask a lot to people to try different rope, to try to make different kinds of practice. I give my ropes to my students and say, try the red one, try the blue one, try the silver one, and they say, whoa, it's a totally different rope, it's a totally different experience. So the research you do, and the research everyone who crafts rope in the world are doing now as something special for the practice.
I had some ropes that I didn't like it. I just floated and it's like, this is shit. This is like, you literally, like, you don't get the feedback. So there's like, what the rope is, some of the ropes are really like a soft. When you hit the ground, you don't get any vibration in your hands. Like if I close my eyes and rolling, and if I don't feel where the ground is, where the wall or so, like you lose so much experience from that. Yeah. And that's why like certain ropes are way better than others. And the rope flow becomes your gateway to movement, and that's when we start moving and improving and getting all those benefits that it gets. And another is the kind of athletic approach where you do more of training, more kind of hardcore style. This is kind of different approach, and these people actually moving more and into deeper understanding of the practice.
Yeah.
The tricks are cool, but rope flow only has 3 patterns. Everything else is just a combination or the variation.
Yeah.
You add another layer of something, and it changes totally. So there's like unlimited possibilities, unlimited patterns as we call, but there's only 3 moves. I can come up with 1,000 or 10,000 variations of the same thing.
Rope flow in that kind is something like music. You have 7 notes, but with that 7 notes you can create the entire music possibility. Okay, you can focus on whatever you want. You can do variation, turning, jumping, flowing, whatever you want. Just a few moves, infinite possibilities.
Yeah. And it's not about the rope. It's about how your body moves.
Yeah.
You need to solve this puzzle with your body. Creates that your efficient body, efficient pattern of movement. So.
Yeah, and there's no official rules about how to discover how to move in an efficient way. For example, when you try a new moves, maybe it happens just for fun, and you say, oh, what if I do this? What if I release? If I try to do underhands on overhands, and then you discover there's no rule, there's just you exploring the rope, exploring your movement, and try to merge yourself with what you have to do. And that it's amazing. It's an amazing experience that everyone have to do in their life.
And this is really important when you're practicing to question yourself. Is it feels better if you change something, or is it feels the same? Or is it feels the worst? And from that point, you continue. At some point, you're like, okay, it's like I'm going the wrong path. We go back and try a different approach because you're building on top. You're constantly building something, and you can. I'm kind of trying to explain for people to try to connect with your body. So something that feels good doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
it start getting that like it feels good, but I don't feel it that it's right.
It's something
Sometimes,
like a conversation. Somebody said
yeah,
it's a conversation
yeah,
between you and the ropes. And when the conversation go in a wrong way, it's because something is doesn't works, and so you have to question yourself to what you are doing or not you are doing.
yeah, yeah, and how and like a first impression for person seeing the rope flow. Oh, it's upper body.
Nope.
Oh,
It's global. It's
oh,
global body. From your
yeah,
head, from your hands, from your hips, knees,
yeah.
and
It
ankle
gets
and
from
feet.
there, but yeah, like all the
Yeah,
movement, like a lot of it comes from the bottom up, and
spiral
it's
energy
constantly spiraling. Yeah,
from the ground to the sky.
I want to be grounded. I want to feel myself. I don't want to disembody and like. I want to go opposite way. I want to ground myself. I want to feel it. I want to understand why I feel that pain.
Yeah,
What I need to change to get rid of it. Sometimes you stay with some problem for a few months until you solve it. After those 3 months trying to solve it, I was like, you just needed to do some kind of stupid, simple shit that like actually solved it in a second. The way to mastery, as I think, you need to learn from each repetition, and it should come from in to out.
yeah.
So you can keep on doing figure eights. I'm doing them now 3-4 years. I spend like 10 minutes doing just a single pattern every few days, just one pattern, and still learning from one that I can move my body a little bit differently.
Hmm.
You don't see any difference outside. You don't see the difference how that figure eight is rolling. But what I feel inside,
Yeah.
it's different what it was a month ago and what I feel now.
I know what you're talking about because when I watch my very first videos doing, I don't know, a matador wheel, I say, it's so similar to what I do today, but it's different nowadays what I do while I do the matador wheels. It's something is changed inside the merging with the rope. I don't know. It's something. It's so hard to explain to no practitioners.
Exactly. We need to kind of sit down and watch the hour of some dudes talking on the internet to get some insights. It's like, that's the point. That's not about the trick, but it's about how my body feels. That's totally different things what I've been doing.
So guys, try the rope. Try the rope. Stop
Yes,
listen
exactly.
to this guy talking and blah 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 chatting about the rope flow. Do your practice.
A lot of helpful. There's going to be a lot of help in what we are talking, and some people can get really amazing insights for them. Like, shit, this changes everything. Yeah, we are in different parts in our life, and we have a different data backs behind ourselves. Like, and our realities are different. And like, you doing the same thing is completely different from me doing the same thing that you did. So. With the Ropeflow community, I just can tell it's amazing. Like what we have now in our group is like 5,000 people, super friendly, helping each other to grow and like watching and learning from each other. It's amazing. It's a collective knowledge. I see a lot of things that I would like them to guide them somehow. It looks cool flows, but what I see how we moving, we are only just a beginner. And we moves looks cool. And there's some people that actually going a little bit deeper, we are intermediate, and only few are advanced. Only few I've seen in all around the world. It's just, I know, we can just count them on fingers probably that are really achieved some sort of mastery that is unlimited potential where we can go, but it's actually only few, and a lot of people are between beginner and intermediate, even though we look really cool. From my perspective, shows that we're just a beginner, and we're looping over there because we need some kind of guidance. Because you can think that you're progressing, but you're still doing the same, a little bit better or so. And sometimes some outside guidance is really important. Like I have coaches for myself. I have coaches in different things. Now I have a mentor in the business as well. which achieved amazing things, and I'm learning a lot of things, which also translates into my practice. And it's not only one thing; it's all the combination of what you're doing, and to have some guide, some coach, whatever it is. It can be your level, but learning from it, that's when you start gathering two persons' knowledge and building on that.
This experiment that I'm doing with Ropeflow since the last October is try to discover what is behind this practice, because I start from the parkour and I discover a lot of similarities between the two disciplines. And sometimes when I talk to a flow mace, he talk like me in parkour. It's just the same language. It's just a different slang. It's just a different location of training. Okay, we are talking about to try to focus yourself with the practice. Try to focus how to obtain your knowledge from your inside and then from the outside. Try to share each other's and try to create something new. Something that's spreading in different ways. It's still the same thing. And rope flow do with a tool, and in parkour maybe the tool is your body. I like this kind of exploration because it can give you a different approach to what training really is. You can find your way of training from anything. And my goal in this exploration, in this kind of series, is to try to explain what I'm learning, what I discover from you and from the other, because there's something great to understand behind everything the sport world can give you.
Yeah. I found, like, when I got deeper into Ropeflow, I dig deeper, looked something, and I found the flow motion.
Okay.
The thing from the 70s, with all of our patterns and more. And how we've been doing, I've been experimenting, and actually at that point when I found them, I've been experimenting with something that we are releasing this Thursday. It's gonna be the Octoforce. This is the gadget that you get on the rope, and it opens you many new flow possibilities. It's a weighted rope. You have really heavy weight, even though you add like a half a kilo on it, and you can roll it as a rope, but it also lets you to move as a clubs or mace, and because it slides, you open a lot of new possibilities with movement, with swings, and with articulation of every joint in the rhythmic fashion. There's not only just the rolling and having the one poof, 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 poof rhythm that it goes on the metronome, but you get the wavy rhythm.
Mm-hmm. Modulate. Try to modulate your rhythm.
Yeah, so, and your body moves differently because if you want to extend to one side, you're kind of extending in the beginning your shoulder moves, then the elbow, hand, and wrist. If you want to make that movement effective, it's a wavy pattern. It's the wavy rhythm. So you don't have the cut rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
That with the rope you just need boom and it flows, boom and it flows. You need just at any given point in the figure eight, you just need to initiate a little bit, and it will flow further. But with this, to make it to achieve the pattern or the movement, you need to create the wave.
When I talk about it's the first time I use a outside tool, I'm talking about that sometimes during the rope flow practice you have to wait for the apex. Okay, when you swing with your hands from the notes, you have to wait the apex do the roll. And when you wait the rope, the rope communicate with you, and so you can feel the wave you're talking about.
Yeah, it's timing and the rhythm. So you, by building the timing and not rushing and being in the flow, that what brings us here. Yes, so you cannot go faster
Yeah.
because there's an obstacle behind in front of you, and you cannot go slower because the obstacle is the rope will not flow and like stops.
Yeah.
So you need to be in the flow, but you can vary in that gap, which this is the max and this is the minimum.
Mhm.
You can play with the speed and time over here, but if you go further, it doesn't work. If you go back, it doesn't work.
It's true.
That's how you end up in the flow. Flow for me, so as I just mentioned, is where you get in the point in the present that you are most productive and most focused of what you're doing. Your all attention is here. With the rope, it's easy to explain. Your attention is how your body is moving, and the rope will tell you that you're moving good or wrong. And because there's also a little bit of pain element, if you hit yourself somewhere, it's still little pain, yeah, but you want to avoid it. And with that little pain, even sometimes it doesn't stop, so it still keeps you in that loop of staying in the present. You made the mistake, but still keep going. You can think what mistakes you did it, analyze yourself, do it again, constantly being in that flow bubble. And as advice, what I can give for it, keep on flowing. Try not to stop for extended periods of time. That's how you get into it. It's perfectly fine to do figure eights for straight hour. Yeah, you stay in the movement, you get bored, you start thinking it differently, you learn more things, you find the places where you can add more complexity, which will keep you in that flow state. Take that understanding, what you understand about the flow, and use it in other things in your life. Walking, making breakfast, doing some work. You will be more productive. You will do more things because your attention is directed and not scattered.
Okay, Rokas, thank you so much to be part of the project, the Ropeflow, lacordanonmente. A lot of people start to learning what Ropeflow is from the internet. It's not so easy to really understand what it is from the just an Instagram page or just a tutorial or just an interview. But if we have so many contents, maybe we can trigger people to start with the rope flow and discover by themselves what really is.
My next goal is to organize the workshops,
Yeah.
align the coaches that we can lead the people into movement every day.
I hope so for the future. Maybe someday you come here in Italy, teach to our future practitioners, and maybe we can trade together.
Yeah, sure. Let's make it happen. Let's organize it. Yeah, thank you, Matteo, and may the flow be with you.
Thank you.